part 2 of Is God a Mathematician? Chapter 5. We all use probabilities and statistics in almost every decision we make, sometimes subconsciously. For instance, you probably don't know that the number of fatalities from automobile accidents in the US was 42,636 in 2004. However, had that number been, say, 3 million, I'm sure you would have known about it. Furthermore, this knowledge would have probably caused you to think twice before getting into the car in the morning. Why do these precise data on road fatalities give us some confidence in our decision to drive? As we shall see shortly, a key ingredient to their reliability is the fact that they are based on very large numbers. The number of fatalities in Freetown, Texas, with a population of 49 in 1969 would hardly have been equally convincing. Probability and statistics are among the most important arrows for the bows of economists, political consultants, geneticists, insurance companies, and anybody trying to distill meaningful conclusions from vast amounts of data. When we talk about mathematics permeating even disciplines that were not originally under the umbrella of the exact sciences, it is often through the windows opened by probability theory and statistics. When we talk about mathematics permeating even disciplines that were not originally under the umbrella of the exact sciences, it is often through the windows opened by probability theory and statistics. How did these fruitful fields emerge? Statistics, a term derived from the Italian stato, state, and statista, a person dealing with state affairs, first referred to the simple collection of facts by government officials. The first important work on statistics in the modern sense was carried out by an unlikely researcher. A shopkeeper in 17th century London. John Grant, 1620-74, was trained to sell buttons, needles, and drapes. Since his job afforded him a considerable amount of free time, Grant studied Latin and French on his own and started to take interest in the bills of mortality, weekly numbers of deaths, parish by parish, that had been published in London since 1604. The process of issuing these reports was established mainly in order to provide an early warning signal. Page flipping. For devastating epidemics. COVID-19, anyone? Using those crude numbers, Grant started to make interesting observations that he eventually published in a small 85-page book entitled Natural and Political Observations. Natural and political observations mentioned in a following index and made upon the bills of mortality. That was the title of the 85-page book. Figure 32 here presents an example of a table from Grant's book where no fewer than 63 diseases and casualties were listed alphabetically. In a dedication to the President of the Royal Society, Grant points out that since his work concerns the air, quote, the air, countries, seasons, fruitfulness, health, diseases, longevity, and the proportion between the sex and ages of mankind, end quote, it is really a treatise, yeah. It is really a treatise in natural history. Indeed, Grant did much more than merely collect and present the data. By examining, for instance, the average numbers of christenings and burials for males and females in London, and in the country parish Romsey in Hampshire, he demonstrated for the first time the stability of the sex ratio at birth. Specifically, he found that in London, there were 13 females born for every 14 males, and in Romsey, 15 females for 16 males. Remarkably, Grant had the foresight to express the wish that travelers would inquire whether it be the same in other countries. He also noted that, quote, it is a blessing to mankind that by this overplus of males there is this natural bar to polygamy. For in such a state, women could not live in that parity and equality of expense with their husbands as now, and here they do. End quote. Today, the commonly assumed ratio between boys and girls at birth is about 1.05. Traditionally, the explanation for this excess of males is that Mother Nature stacks the deck in favor of male births because of the somewhat greater fragility of male fetuses and babies. Incidentally, for reasons that are not entirely clear, in both the United States and Japan, the proportion of baby boys has fallen slightly each year since the 1970s.